Um, I have
Long
a
time no see.
situation. No.
Situation.
Okay, the situation is that I got someone that stayed and I was hosting them, and he's a host also.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in a way, he thought that he booked for the whole apartment, which he didn't. And he got a room, and he first said that he didn't book for the room, but he booked for the apartment. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, then he reached out to Airbnb, and then he told me that his girlfriend got tested positive COVID-19, and that he want his money back or whatnot. So what can I do in that situation? I've been going back and forth with this and with Airbnb with this, and I
What
don't
did
know
they
what to
say?
do.
What did they say?
They said if they could if he could provide proof and whatnot, then he'll get all his money back. But now this was like 2 or 3 days after the fact, and I haven't heard from nothing from him. So I went to the apartment, and he wasn't there. He wasn't there at all.
Is
So
there are there other guests there?
no, there was no other guest at that time.
Okay.
No guest at that time. And when I got there, the bed was the same, the key was in the lockbox, and he wasn't there, or his girlfriend. So I reached back out to him, and then he's like, "Well, I never came," and blah blah blah. And I said, "Well, you never, So what I did out of my heart, so what I did was that I sent him we call it like to reduce his time at the apartment. At least I get something, or I could do it to somebody else that has the days available. And he's like, no, that he wants his whole refund, and he's not gonna accept it. And to the next thing that I say, okay, so I was like, well, you got proof. I said, you haven't sent no proof. You haven't reached out to me. So I don't know what's going on with you, or whatever. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna send it now. Which he sent it, and I said, well, you need to send it to Airbnb, and that was it.
Okay.
So I don't know what to do after that.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a kind of a quick one where, I mean, you're right. If he sent it already, just have him send it to Airbnb if they're requesting it. Because if Airbnb is telling him he's gonna get his money back if he proves it, then I don't know if there's anything you could do anyway, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't think they still had extenuating circumstance rule where, like they used to, where if someone had COVID, like back in the day, if someone just said they had COVID or something COVID related, whether they had it or they couldn't make it due to something related to COVID, they just refunded them all their money regardless of what your cancellation policy was. That was the stance that they took for the first, I think, 6 to 9 months of this whole COVID thing. And they were actually encouraging people to tell them, to cancel if it was COVID related. So it wasn't just that they had this new rule. They were actually encouraging people, if you can't stay and it's anything to do with COVID, just let us know and you could cancel and get a full refund. This was on the front page of the booking of Airbnb. So people were doing all kinds of stupid stuff. Oh, you know what? That listing is cheaper. I'm going to say on this one that I have I don't have COVID, that I can't stay is COVID related, and Airbnb just automatically, boom, they would cancel, take all your money, and then and they just let them book here if they wanted. It didn't matter. They didn't ask for any proof or anything of what it was. Didn't have to be that they had COVID. It could just be, I can't come because due to COVID, I can't travel. Due to COVID, my employer is no longer, this contract doesn't exist anymore. They're not doing anything. Due to COVID, my son is sick, so I can't go. It didn't matter. All they had to do was just say COVID. So that, I didn't know that any of that extenuating circumstance still exists where if someone even proves that they have it, they could get a full refund. You'd have to check that policy. I don't believe that is a policy. If there's any hosts in here, if you guys know of any of that, speak up, but I don't believe that that's still a policy. So if they're saying, hey, if you prove it, what they may be able to do is, like you said, what Airbnb would probably do is come back to you and say, hey, Francine, look, this guy proves that he has COVID. Are you willing to give him a refund or do anything to help him, with the money that he paid? And then if there's no extenuating circumstance rule that exists today, then now you have the right to say no, or yeah, I'll give him a partial refund. for you could give him a partial. How long is he supposed to be staying there?
He stayed until today, the 20th.
For how long?
5 days.
5 days. So, I mean, you know, and he didn't notify you for what, 3 days or something? 3 or 4 days?
He didn't get back with me. You know, after Miss Day was like 3 days.
Yeah, I mean, you could just say that. Look, you know, he didn't even communicate with me properly for the first 3 days. I thought, you know, he was there. We didn't know, and not only that, the listing was actually booked. He didn't cancel his listing, right?
No, that's why I say you didn't cancel
His reservation. So he didn't cancel his reservation. So you could actually say, because he didn't even cancel his reservation, no, I'm not giving him anything back. Or you could say, I'll give him a day back. If you want to give him 2 days back, that's up to you. But Airbnb just likes when you do something for them, but they will also understand your reasoning if you say no, if it's a good reason.
Right, and that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to get 3 days, and then he didn't.
Don't talk to him anymore. Let Airbnb reach out to you now.
Okay.
Because he's now going through them, and then they'll reach out and say, hey, what are you willing to do for him? And then you just tell them. He knows. He's just trying to play you. And I think he probably doesn't have COVID. I don't know. I think he probably realized that it's a whole house, not a room, and now he's trying to play the game.